I'm Pooja. I'm an osteopath based in Sheffield, and I'm going to talk to you about how to do a pelvic floor exercise. First, before we get into that, I'm going to explain the link between the pelvic floor and the diaphragm. So the diaphragm is the muscle that sits around here, and it basically does our breathing. It's really important in breathing. It's the breathing muscle. So when we breathe in, our diaphragm lengthens and descends to let all the air in. And when we breathe out, the diaphragm lifts up to let all the air out. So now let's talk about the link between the diaphragm and the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor is like a sling muscle that holds the bladder, the uterus, the rectum as well, and it just holds it up in a sling. But it works in conjunction with that diaphragm muscle. So imagine, so when you breathe in, diaphragm goes down, breathe out, diaphragm goes up. That's linked to the pelvic floor as well. So when we breathe in, that goes down as well. So the pelvic floor and diaphragm both go down, and as you breathe out, the pelvic floor lifts, and so does the diaphragm. So if you imagine, they sort of work like that. Now that's important when we do the pelvic floor lift, because I see a lot of people doing the pelvic floor exercise or lift, or some people can call it Kegel, when they breathe in and then lift. And the problem with that is that it's working against the diaphragm rather than working with it. So when you lift, when you're breathing in, that goes down, and then you're trying to lift the pelvic floor, and it just creates some tension. So that's the first thing. So you want to do that pelvic floor lift when you're breathing out. So breathing in, and then breathing out, and then doing the lift, so both come up together. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, how do we do a lift? A lot of people can do this wrong as well. So when we think of a lift or pelvic floor exercise, we are thinking of the muscles that the muscles that hold in a fart or hold in pee. But what we're trying to do is imagine a lift from the back passage then to the front. And the reason for that is I do feel that you just get a bit of a stronger sensation when you go from the back, because that's usually where the fibers of the pelvic floor do start, and then lifting to the front rather than just holding, where you pee. So that's the second thing. So you want to breathe in, and then as you breathe out, you want to lift from the back to the front and hold. And that's basically a pelvic floor exercise. And then the third thing, which is very, very important, is that what you don't want to do is you don't want to hold the lift too long and sort of let the lift sort of fizzle away, depending on how strong your pelvic floor is. Whether you can hold for 3 seconds, whether you can hold for 5, and if you can hold for 10, then that's amazing. You don't want to hold and sort of let it fizzle away. So you want to hold and then make sure that you do feel that relaxation after. So for example, if we're holding for 3 seconds, so breathing in, breathing out, lift from the back to the front, hold, 1, 2, 3, and then you want to feel that relaxation afterwards. And the reason for this is a healthy pelvic floor is one that can relax as well as contract. We don't want a pelvic floor that's always contracted, because that causes other issues as well. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. So breathing out as you lift, holding from the back passage then to the front, and then making sure that you feel that relaxation afterwards. Yeah, hope that was helpful.